Hello everyone and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're checking out The Plan by Krillbite Studio. This is a very atmospheric exploration, sort of free-form narrative, I suppose. I'm not sure of exactly the right way to describe this, since it's one of those games where if you haven't already played it, you don't really know what there is in it. So we're going to go through this a little bit together. But from everything I've heard, it's extremely polished, and it's one of those games that's getting a lot of hype in its own little pocket, I suppose. It's also shown up on Greenlight, so if this is turns out to be as good as everyone's saying, maybe we want to go give that a vote on Greenlight to possibly get this onto Steam. So let's start it out, see what there is to see. So we are this fly who is, as typical flies do, it's spending a lot of time obsessing over its hands, and we can launch off the ground here. So we've got a very atmospheric, sort of limbo-esque environment to explore. We're keeping a very tight shot on the fly, actually, and that's very cool because we're getting some great depth of field effects going on in the background. Oh, some kind of, I guess, gust of wind to knock us off our course. You know, reminding us quite how small we are in this particular situation. I'm not a huge fan of flies in general. I generally don't like having them around. But I read on a site that this is one of the rare cases where this can actually make you find this particular fly to be somewhat endearing. So I'm curious how the narrative frames this fly to put us in such a position that we might feel that way. You notice some very subtle little particle effects. There's even little trails that are showing up behind my fly. Normally that would be kind of a strange thing, but in this case I actually think it fits somehow. This is an ambient, moody feel to just about everything, and we had such a great background effect when we were starting out. I don't know if you heard it, but it was like that, you know, you wake up in bed, it's one of those rainy mornings, everything is just soaked and foggy, and you just feel like you just want to go back to bed. Well, I think they set up the mood pretty nicely there. So we've reached some sort of a roof, or I guess a branch of the tree there. I don't seem to be able to go anywhere but over, so let's continue to do that. I don't know why I'm flying up necessarily. I'm just flying where it lets me fly. The game doesn't seem to be trying to hold my hand in any length. Is that... I believe that's a spider web right there that I'm supposed to avoid. What a lovely subtle little effect that is. You almost didn't even notice it. So I suppose I want to head back down. I don't know if this fly can be killed or what. Maybe I'm supposed to get stuck in there, because it looks like we're going to have to go very far down to get through it. Yeah, I'm guessing this is part of the story. Or part of the progression. Wow, okay, I guess if I flail enough, I can actually break out of that web. That's a rare thing for a fly to be able to achieve, I suppose. I'm no fly expert, but I have a feeling... Oh. That thing is in the same plane as I am. But I have a feeling that not a lot of flies get that opportunity, or have the sheer muscle strength required. Yeah, it's a tough wind. Do flies usually keep their legs just dangling down like that? I guess I've never really looked at one close enough to tell. I always thought they kept them like tucked up until they try to land or something. All I know is they spend a lot of time wheedling and moving them around, licking their ends of their feet or whatever. So up and up we go. Background looks like a cover of that Nine Inch Nails album, The Fragile. Kind of a cool thing to actually be compared to, I would say. It's one of my favorite albums from back in the day. But I guess that's just what happens when you do depth of field effects with nature. You end up with Nine Inch Nails covers. So, game's not giving me a whole lot to talk about here. It just sort of seems like we're progressing through a lot of empty space. I'm sure that's going to end at some point. Or maybe I'm just doing it wrong. Maybe I'm not supposed to go up this far. Maybe I was supposed to go in a different direction. Who knows? But it continues to scroll, so I can't be that far off. Looks like we're next to a pine tree, perhaps. We've got another gust of wind. Wind rarely seems to come in such a sharp, you know, push and then just cuts off entirely. Usually it's more of a taper, but whatever. Got quite a bit of, looks like almost like aurora borealis sun rays going on in the background. I think that's just what happens when you have like a dozen transparency layers all overlaying each other with effects on them. You end up with stuff like that. Did I really? Oh, I thought this was like the same bit of wood. Should maybe take a rest here? Can I just land on this, perhaps? I don't think so. See, part of the fun of being a fly, I thought, is landing on 100,000 things and bouncing off of everything. No such luck here. This fly is doing a lot of climbing. But consistently good effects. I mean, between the trees, oh, the nice little pads that come in, little sun flares, there's the branches off in the distance. A really nice accompaniment. And if you noticed, we've actually been zooming out further and further. The scale is confusing me a little bit. I guess that's just far away. Because for a while we were feeling very, very small, and all of a sudden it's looking almost like we're very, very large. But I think we just don't have accurate perspective to really gauge what we are versus anything else in the environment. Alright, so we're getting pretty high up in the sky now. I think you can see these little flecks of trees off in the distance, like we're looking out at possibly a mountainscape or something. It's very, very subtle, though. It might not translate very well over the YouTube video itself. This is, by the way, if I haven't mentioned it already, is totally free. So you guys are going to want to go grab this if you want to check this out, you know, full screen and actually get to control the little fly. Oh, wow. This is quite pretty. Where are we going? Are we going up into the constellations right now? I thought maybe that was going to be a world map or something, like we're having one of those crazy like travel montages where we move up. Oh wow, look at the shadow come underneath the fly. That's really pretty. Yeah, I thought we were going to have one of those travel montages that shows it like moving across like the North American continent. Love this accompaniment. I'm just kind of being quiet so you can hear it clearly. Wow. Oh man, seriously? Alright, so I guess that's going to pretty much do it for the plan. I wasn't sure what to expect from that one, but I guess now that we know what the ending is, it made a lot of sense to use this particular medium to express this little story. I mean, it wasn't a crazy, like, complicated story. It was just, you know, a beginning, a middle, and an end. We start on the ground, we work our way up, we hit a cobweb, we hit a couple little bursts of wind, and then things start to get pretty tense and atmospheric, and then we reach the climax of the story. We hit the light bulb, it explodes, and the game ends. I don't know if it actually exploded, but you know what I'm trying to say. So, I mean, it was really one of those just atmospheric little experiments. It wasn't necessarily a game the way we would normally formally use that word, but it is also a situation where I don't think this could have been presented in the same way had it not been through this medium. So I do applaud them for that. I mean, granted, it's not exactly something, you know, you're probably going to really need to play again once you've seen that, unfortunately. So I didn't mean to spoil the game for you, but you didn't know, well, we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into until we tried it. So, but now that we've seen it, I definitely do want to, you know, give my salute to the developer and say that was pretty cool. And thank you for giving us a few minutes of time with you. I appreciated that very much. So that is going to do it for another episode. Granted, albeit a somewhat short episode, but you never know what we're going to get into with these types of games. But as always, remember to head on over to the website, which is www.indie-impressions.com. That way you can check out all the other videos in the series. We're going 330 strong-ish, somewhere around there, maybe a little past that. We're going to continue doing this project every single day, as long as you guys continue to give your support, which you have been every single day, and I so appreciate that. But when you head on over to the website, feel free to, search all the different genres, distribution methods, and check out the forums as well, because we could use some more voices, continuing the discussions we've got over there. Aside from the website, though, there's also facebook.com/indieimpressions. If you'd like to leave a like on that, you'll get every day's new video delivered right into your Facebook feed. Makes it nice and convenient for you so you don't have to go looking for them. I also do news updates and the occasional contests and game giveaways over there, too, so it doesn't hurt, and it actually helps me out a bit. It only takes a second anyway. And lastly, if you're an indie dev and you want to possibly get your game shown off on the show, quickest way to reach me is to send me an email via the contact form on the website, but I also have a Twitter account, which is @RockLeeSmile, so feel free to come say hey over there. And that goes for anybody. If you just want to give me a suggestion or say hi, I am always open to talk to anybody that wants to talk. So that is going to do it. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I hope you come back again tomorrow for another awesome indie game. Have a good night. Later.